What is up, everybody? Good morning and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Marvel Rivals. Today we are going to be taking a look at this absolutely stacked, pretty much full pro team here, and they actually get a run for their money in this game. But we are going to be taking a look at Mace playing Hulk this morning. This is the first round, at the very least, is going to be a good example of how to play Hulk when you're on your back foot. I know a lot of people are kind of think that you need to steamroll as Hulk, like have unlimited access to the back line sometimes, but this guy does a good job at kind of threading the needle, playing a little bit more balanced, backing up when he needs to, playing with the Doctor Strange when he needs to. So let's see what he does getting into this. So playing a little bit further up just so he can look for the portal in case that comes through, and then jumping back as soon as my game actually loads in. Just getting a little cheeky E to start the game off. Going up towards the high ground over here. And just kind of jumping around waiting for the enemy to get in range. As soon as he sees them go up to this top right part, he follows his Doctor Strange up here and tries to contest this high ground because they know if they drop down, that's just bad news bears. So getting right up there, dropping down, not really getting a whole lot of heals as he goes down, but jumping back up, getting a nice clap through the enemy. Sees the Hulk on his back line, jumps down to make sure that no one needs him down there, jumping back up to shield the Doctor Strange, giving him an extra little bit of survivability. And just jumping around, still trying to contest this high ground. They've already wasted a minute of the enemy's time here. But they do lose. The enemy team does lose their Widowmaker. Black Widow, let's be honest, it's Widowmaker. But the enemy Loki has successfully farmed ult, so Luna is going to be able to keep the enemy team pretty safe. They do lose Karova and Affersy, and he just has to back up. And they're just going to concede this first point for the most part. Fully backing up towards this little corner over here. I know this isn't a Thor on Hall of Djalia, but this is a Hulk on Hall of Djalia. So when I saw this morning, I was like, oh, we should do something for this. Just because I had a comment the other day that was asking for this map specifically. I don't like how people usually back into this hallway over here. I think it's better to just back up towards where the payload is actually going to be. But Affersy gets a nice ult, kills the Luna. He chases down the Doctor Strange here. And then he's able to jump back onto the payload and pressure the back line a little bit more with that Psylocke right next to him. Running down, getting some nice cheeky melees on that Storm there. Able to take her out, shield his allies, get a little bit of poke and spawn. And he does hold ult for a very long time here, I believe. At least the first time I watched this replay, I feel like he was holding ult for a super, super long time. So let's see if that stays true. The enemy Doctor Strange does portal his team behind them. So going to have a little bit of a different angle, but they have capped the payload, so it's not moving during this whole time. They're going to have to push past Mace's team in order to get there. Jumping back to his back line, dropping the shield, and then jumping into the front line. I think he really wanted to ult here, but is not able to do it because he gets frozen by the Luna. We see Affersy and Rymazing both blow their ults, Karova using his to keep the enemy team alive, but Loki ult should keep them pretty safe from harm. Loki and Luna both ulting. And his team is not going to be able to get a whole lot, even though they do blow 4 ults there. His death right off the rip was a little bit unfortunate. But both Luna ults should be down for red team. So next fight, they should have a better chance to get something going. Just about 3 minutes left on the clock here. Just jumping around, kind of waiting for his team. Gets some cheeky punches on the enemy Hulk. Enemy Storm ult does come in. Karova is taken out beforehand, though, by the Black Widow on the other team. Their Cloak and Dagger uses ult to keep them alive through the remainder of that Storm ult. And they're going to be able to play in that smoke. Gets a nice pick on the Storm here. Tackles her out of the air. I would have probably committed on that Luna there, but who knows. And then Loki is able to step up and once again get a nice Luna ult. Backs up a little bit using his shield to stay alive just for a couple seconds longer. and then pops Hulk ult just to get a little bit of extra damage. Tries to help his team out with the backline here before going back and getting on payload, stopping a little bit of that movement. As the back-to-back Luna ults come out, plenty of stall from the enemy team, and they're just going to sit around this corner, make sure that they don't die fully, and try to reset. His shift is coming off cooldown right now, but he doesn't need to use it since Luna on his team does pop ult. Tries to get an imprison on the Black Widow here, and just playing around the point, playing around the Doctor Strange, trying to make sure the enemy team does not get a whole lot of movement there. Able to take out the Black Widow as the enemy Doctor Strange pops ult. I think his ult. Are both Doctor Strange's ulted there? Oh boy. But it's going to be a 4-for-1 there in their favor. Just about a minute 20 left on the clock. They are sitting on Psylocke ult as well as Cloak and Dagger ult, so they have plenty of damage in their back pocket. And Storm should be able to farm ult as well pretty quickly. Playing high ground here, getting some cheeky claps. I'm realizing how that sounds. Pause. Trying to build a little bit of ult charge, knowing that they need to save pretty much everything for overtime at this point. Psylocke gets a nice ult in the back line, is able to take out the Hawkeye Storm, and Amazing follows up, killing the Strange. They get a nice KO on the Hulk, and they do have Loki ult kind of wasted on the Luna ult as they back away. Aversi going absolutely monstrous there, getting 4 under his belt. Hulk playing a little bit more forward. Does not actually, I think, have E on. Does he just not have his E up? Yeah, he doesn't have his E up, so I think otherwise he could have maybe just used his E and stunned the Doctor Strange, stopping that portal, but portal does come through. Luckily, they are sitting on a couple good ults here. Jumping up to high ground, Amazing commits Storm ult. Loki beam, what do you want to call these? Lamps, Loki lamps. Able to keep his team pretty safe from harm. His Cloak and Dagger ults, they'll be able to fight in the smoke and stay a little bit safer. Luna ult from the enemy team comes out to counter all of those. And overtime is already triggered. They still have a good amount of space to go. Doctor Strange being an absolute live lord, not going down and still holding down the point. His team backing up just enough so that they don't die, giving the rest of them time to get back. Saving Doctor Strange ult for overtime. Gets a nice 3-piece there. And then we just pop Hulk ult, get a little bit of follow-up damage, knocking this Hulk off of point to make sure that overtime ticks all the way down and saving the game. They definitely could have given up that point, but they were very, very patient with ults. And that got them the win. 1-0. So going into the next round, it does say that he plays some Magneto in this game, but I don't know where that actually shows up. I tried to go through this replay, and I couldn't even see him on Magneto, so don't be surprised if he switches to Magneto for a second. Jumping on in, we'll switch up our tactic a little bit for offense. Similar to taking high ground or defending high ground the first round, going up here trying to dislodge the Doctor Strange and the Star-Lord from it this time, but the enemy is pretty much posted up on that other side, that right-hand side there. Pretty much their whole team is up. Using his left shift to mitigate a little bit of damage, and again trying to dislodge the Doctor Strange. Using his E to imprison him, and forcing him to drop off of high ground finally. Punching through that shield. Drops incredibly low here. Luckily is able to get a jump and keep that momentum, carrying him into his backline. But I think his team is just going to have to back up here. They're going to need a pretty major ult cooldown to get the enemy team off of high ground on that right-hand side. Just going to be content standing behind the Doctor Strange shield, farming back for Hulk form. Stepping around the corner and using that. Gets taken incredibly low. I probably would have waited a little bit more there, been a little bit more patient, but they get some good damage on one of the tanks there. Doctor Strange going up there trying to get the Loki low. Enemy Luna ult comes out, as does the enemy Storm ult. Has already farmed Hulk form back. Kurova able to use the Luna ult to keep them safe from Storm and Magneto. And here comes the friendly Doctor Strange ult. Jumping immediately up to the Star-Lord, gets a beautiful pick on him, tackling him out of the air. Able to finish off a couple members of the enemy team with the help of that right click and an auto attack. And they expend pretty much every ult in the game during that fight, with the exception of Afrasy. Able to take this first point with and reset the clock to about 4.5 minutes. The tackle onto the Star-Lord was absolutely gorgeous too. I mean, that was, if you're playing Hulk, definitely go for those flyers, go for those, you can get a lot of height with this thing, so if you're new to Hulk, be a hero. Take out Star-Lords who are ulting. Still playing a little bit more to his team, not going too deep onto the backline. Smashing through this wall like the damn Kool-Aid man. Hashtag ad question mark. And just jumping around, making himself a little bit of a harder target. Afrasy committing ult, taking out the Doctor Strange, so their front line is going to be a little bit weaker as they push forward. See the enemy Storm use his ult, Kurova ulting to counter with Luna ult. Able to keep his team completely safe as Amazing looks for the Storm ult as well. Loki Lamp's going to keep them safe as well. But he does commit Luna ult too. Popping Mega Hulk. Just whacking and thwacking. Star-Lord taken very, very low. Unfortunately, they're not able to get a KO on him. Just causing absolute chaos in the enemy team's backline here, but he will be taken out eventually. And I do like that this game is more of a 2-2-2 sort of vibe. I think it does make for some mildly more exciting gameplay. Instead of just some over and over wet noodle fights. But jumping back to his team here. Still have plenty of time. Just need to kind of sit on ults, get one more good push, and they should be able to take this point. The enemy Storm does pop ult here. Pretty aggressive ult. Able to take out the Doctor Strange with the help of the Loki. They do trade just Doctor Strange's over here. Gets a nice imprison on the Storm, keeping her a little bit out of position. Unfortunately, not able to follow up just in time. Star-Lord taken out by his Storm. And we're just going to punch the crap out of some Loki clones. Playing a little bit more frontline heavy since Doctor Strange is not there to help share that. Doctor Strange not able to get anything there. Afrasy pops that Psylocke ult, Luna ults, both Luna's ult actually. And he is going to pop the Hulk ult to try and auto attack and get that knockback, knocking the enemy team off of the point. Being an absolute nuisance. That right click also does a ton of damage. Amazing able to ult with that Storm, and they're able to quickly clean up the enemy team with the help of 4 ults being committed. Afrasy, of course, ulting to start it off. So they get the win with a score of 2-1. And I think that was a good showcase of how you can kind of play Hulk as a frontliner. You don't necessarily need to run to the back line all the time. He plays Hulk well. He plays around his Strange well. Helps out his team when they need help. Of course, they hold their ults. They're a very coordinated team, but very good play all around. Of course, I will include the replay ID in the description below. So if you guys want to watch this replay yourself, watch anyone else's perspective, you're welcome to do that. Leave a like on the video if you liked it. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.